There has been an incident in Dallas, Texas with a car crash, and the Chiefs' Rashee Rice is wanted for questioning. What does this mean live on this breaking bonus edition of Locked On Chiefs?
From the land of the free and the home of the Chiefs, this is the Locked On Chiefs podcast.
Welcome back, friends and neighbors. Not the best topic, but it is breaking news, and we're bringing you this bonus episode here on Sunday. As we were waking, at least I was waking out here an hour behind Central Time, news broke of Rashee Rice being wanted in what was an incident yesterday in Dallas, Texas. We're going to get you instant reaction, tell you everything that we know as of this moment, which is only about 90 minutes since I heard about it. We're brought to you today by FanDuel. Check them out. You can make every moment more and get $200 back on new customers for winning a $5 bet in the tournament or anywhere else. That's $200 back on a $5 win at FanDuel.com/lockedon. Chris, I am still catching up a little bit. Where are we and what do we know?
Basically, all we really know is that the car, Rashee Rice had a registered Corvette to him, and it was involved in a race with the Lamborghini, and the Lamborghini hit the wall, caused a chain reaction accident. 4 more cars, I think, are involved in the wreck. From what I understand and what has been reported so far, it seems like both the Corvette and the Lamborghini were able to drive away. That's why Rice is looked at for questioning right now. It was, like I said, registered in his name, so the assumption is that it was him driving it. We don't know that for a fact, but that's kind of the assumption right now. And as of right now, we don't know how this is going to play out. It sounds like there were minor injuries, which is good news. 6-car wreck on the highway, because that's what it was. You would worry that there would be some fatalities or some very major injuries, but it sounds like maybe that this is more of a minor injury type situation, which I'm not trying to make light of it at all whatsoever, but that's part of what's going on with this.
And that's the thing is it is fairly fresh and raw, folks, so we don't know a lot of details. There might be more information floating around in the Dallas, Texas area, but right now we don't have that information. So the bottom line is this was a vehicle that has the responsibility tied to him of the Chiefs receiver, Rashee Rice. We don't know if he was behind the wheel or even involved in any way, or if somebody was borrowing his car. Obviously, there are a lot of implications there, but no fatalities. Hopefully not too much property damage other than the vehicles involved. Doesn't sound like there would be. But we don't know what kind of information the investigation will find or what that might do to the legality and the availability for Rashee Rice in this coming season. Obviously, the Chiefs have come to lean on him. But on the field, what are the implications of if he does miss time? What does that do to the immediacy of the 3P run?
I think there's huge implications potentially. It sounds like, based on what we know at this point, and I hate speculating, so I'm not going to really get into speculation too much, other than it doesn't sound like there's going to be major injuries and hopefully no deaths from this accident. So if that ends up being the case, and that's true, this becomes an issue where maybe he's suspended a couple of games. But from what was reported early this morning when I first saw the story, there was really no indication as to what was going on, what happened, and how severe it could be. So that's really going to end up being the question: is what is he going to end up being charged with? There have been players in the past that have gotten charged with felonies and still only got a couple of game suspension. Right now, I don't think, and just comments in the chat, I don't think this is a Kareem Hunt 2.0 situation. I want to be absolutely clear on that. And what I mean by that is I don't think that this is a situation where he's off the team based on what we know now. Obviously, that is subject to change.
That is. And the implications of a couple of games here, again, hopefully there are no reported injuries as of anything major anyway of this point, no fatalities. As long as that stays the same, I agree that a suspension is likely in place either way. But hopefully it is limited to property damage of those vehicles, and Rashee has learned his lesson or whatever. Again, we don't even know if he was involved or in the passenger seat or anything else, folks. So we'll just have to play it by ear until we get that information. But in terms of a couple game suspension, I think it's something they can live with. If it's beyond that, if it gets to 4 or more, I think that's something that they're going to have to address with other roster moves.
Yeah, and the other thing is if you start looking at how this is going to affect the Chiefs in 2024 and beyond, And beyond, maybe it won't. Other than Rice is on a shorter leash if something happens with him in the future with the NFL, and that's the only thing that you would look at maybe past 2024. But the reality is that it could affect their draft plans a little bit depending on what they find out before the draft happens. If they know that they're going to miss him for a longer period of time, that could shift how important the wide receiver position is in the draft, which we already thought was pretty important. But now maybe you're looking at having to do something else because maybe you're not going to have him for an extended period of time. Not saying that we know that now, but that's really the question.
That will be the question. And folks, we will be recording the mock draft Monday here later on Sunday evening. So join us for that, because this will definitely shift, and we'll throw out our previous plan. We will explore the options here of if you have to address this specifically. The last time, if this comes down to availability, whether there's a charge or whatever, if Rashee Rice is unavailable for any reason, whether it's suspension or whether it's a legal obstacle, it comes down to the last time they were in this position is when they thought they might not have Tyreek Hill, and it led to the McCole Hardman draft pick.
Yep.
And some people will say that was an overdraft and a mistake. In the end, he's come back. Maybe after this last Super Bowl, maybe people don't feel that way. I do think McCole Hardman is tied to this in several ways. We were going to run those down on the draft selection, but I'll tell you this. If Rashee Rice has to miss meaningful time in this coming season, McCole Hardman's coming back to this roster.
Well, it could. And at this point, with the L'Jarius Sneed trade finally being finalized on Friday, the Chiefs now officially have their cap space. They have the ability to do a couple of things that we've been talking about. It's possible they bring McCole Hardman back. The question is what does he want? That's what it's really going to come down to. And maybe that's what they do is they go out and say, okay, well, we know we may be without Rice for a couple of games. Maybe we'll bring in McCole. He at least knows the offense and can step in and be productive to some extent for the first couple of games. And you still address it in the draft as you were already planning on doing.
Let's hope that's not something they have to do. If I will have a plan by tonight when we do our mock draft Monday recording, folks. We'll probably record that rather than do it live, just so that we can go through a couple of scenarios here. But we'll have it for you this evening, even though it will be Sunday night. So look for that. But I will say this: despite all of that, as long as this can be something that is chalked up to a traffic violation, meaning no serious injuries, probably, definitely no fatalities. This is something that he's going to have to deal with maybe a little bit more on his own if it is, reckless driving, or I don't even want to speculate what the charge could be. But if it's a non-injury related traffic violation, that I think will change the severity of what the NFL will do. Well,
and there's injuries to an extent, but as long as it's not major injuries, not life-changing or life-altering or life-taking injuries, I think you're going to see a different situation than what was originally reported and what the fear normally was in this type of scenario. I mean, 6-car pileup on a highway is not ever a good sign. So
no,
we'll see what we find out in the coming days.
And if I was correct, that's happened at 6 p.m. local in Dallas. Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, not a middle of the night street racing kind of situation. Not something where there's nobody else on the road. So let's hope that it stays as it is now. When we learn more, we will have more reaction for you. Again, we'll be drafting our Mock Draft Monday show, so be prepared for that. And if something does break, look for another bonus episode from us. We appreciate you guys spending your time with us, especially on your Easter Saturday. Have a good one at that, and we will be back with you tonight. Thanks for being here now, and we'll talk to you next time.